All right. Test.
Test.
Netflix is going to do more experimenting with. They're going to do a live stream of a comedy show in early 2023 with the great Chris Rock. So I am interested here. So
So he'll be doing this live in real time, and you can stream it live, like a pay-per-view kind of situation.
That's what it seems to be.
You're already paying per view, so
right. So I mean, we know that Netflix is, they've lost some members, subscriptions over recent time. There's a lot more competition out there in streaming, services. So many pluses with Disney Plus, et cetera, et cetera. And they're just, give them credit. I mean, they're trying to experiment and offer different types of entertainment, and I think this will be interesting. I like Chris Rock anyway. He's one of the more talented stand-up comics, certainly in our time. But I don't know. I don't know if the live thing does it.
Does it hold appeal? You mean is it?
Yeah, it's a comedy special, so it's going to be the closest thing you can get to sitting there in a theater with Chris Rock. So in that respect, it's definitely very interesting. You're going to get all the raw, footage. He's a great one to, with again, he's talented anyway. Obviously, he still has some added notoriety with the whole Will Smith slap thing and all that. So it's good to see him continuing to get out there and do his thing. So I'm sure a lot of people will be tuning in to see, is he finally going to really talk about this on stage? Because he's mentioned a little bit of things here and there, but I would almost guarantee he brings it up on this thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So what do you think? Is this interesting in general to do a live comedy broadcast? Is it, are you interested in this because it's Chris Rock, or both? What do you think about this?
I think it is. I think it is interesting. Most notably because we haven't seen a lot of these streaming platforms do this. The whole thing with streaming is that it's on demand and it's everything you want, and whenever it's on your schedule, right? But what I will say, so we had, when I was a kid, I mean, big thing was pay-per-views, right? Like for wrestling, we used to order them all the time. We were big into professional wrestling, WWE back then, and you'd pay all this money and you'd get friends over and you'd order some pizzas and wings and everybody got together and watched it, and it was kind of this fun thing that people did. But that was then, and then everybody's lives got busy and times changed, and people didn't care as much, it seemed like, about that. I think what kind of flipped it, though, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think there is, because no one's really done this, or to my knowledge, or at least on a large scale, like like Netflix is doing with Chris Rock here. Two big names: Netflix, big streaming platform; Chris Rock, big name in comedy. But I think that doing that definitely draws attention. I think it gets people excited for that reason. But one thing that I noticed a lot, I think COVID definitely did a lot for bringing this kind of thing back, because I have this, for example, I have this app on my phone called Bands in Town, which is a great app for anybody who likes to go to concerts and likes to track your artists that you like. You can sync it up to your different music platforms, but it'll track all your artists that you listen to and follow on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. And then it'll send you alerts when they're coming to your town or when the show's been announced. And you can you can put a little bookmark in it and be like, oh, I'm interested in this one, or I have tickets, and it's got a little calendar. Here's your shows, all that stuff. So during COVID, when there were no live performances anymore, this band was, or this app, this Bands in Town, was constantly sending me these things that this band that you track is doing a live performance, a live stream, and this band that you track is doing a live stream, and this band. So everybody was doing that, in part to stay relevant to you, and in part to make you feel good and stay in touch with their fan base and do things like that. So, and I watched many live stream concerts during COVID, because I went to a lot of concerts before COVID, and then it happened and you couldn't go anywhere, and then you're like, well, shit. And it was kind of, even though you couldn't be with people, you couldn't see the acts you wanted to see. It was kind of nice to feel like you're having this shared experience right now in real time, with the artists that you love or other people that are, watching this thing. So it was kind of cool. But I think I think COVID did a lot to make that new to us again and make it kind of fun to watch something in real time. I would imagine after this airs live, Netflix will still have this, that you can still
I'm
watch it
sure.
on demand.
Yep.
But if you want to watch it as it's happening and that's fun to you, I would imagine, I would be willing to bet that the numbers are going to be pretty good for people tuning into the live version of it just to be a part of it. And like I said, it hasn't really been done. I mean, you don't see Amazon or Hulu or any of these other ones, like I said, to my knowledge, doing that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's interesting. Like you say, it does definitely harken back to those events, or even just a television show for that matter. Before you could record them, I mean, you just had to gather the family around. It was an event, So, like you said, they're trying to recapture some of that, and without question, it's going to get buzz. So I'm sure all the social media platforms, people are going to be watching this, fans and critics and everything else, and be tweeting and posting and everything else as it's going on. So then probably it's going to get a surge to try to. I'm sure these are all things people think about when they plan something like this. Of course, the executives at Netflix is going to get they're going to gain some, attention with all this stuff here. So, yeah, it's neat. I'm kind of interested in that. It'd be interesting to, like you say, plan to sit down, get people together, watch this together. I'm sure that'll happen. I'm sure there'll be friends getting together and all this. So yeah, I like it. So we'll see what it does. I guarantee all these other platforms, they'll be watching this as well. See what kind of numbers it gets and everything. And then if it does well, you're going to see more of it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, if nothing, even put aside the whole, it's Netflix and they're doing a new thing and it's Chris Rock and he's a big name in comedy. Like you said, that whole slap, I mean, if nothing else, even people that aren't like necessarily fans of Chris Rock, they're going to watch because they're going to want to see what he has to say about it. Or it's like you said, it's going to be brought up. It's 100%.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be huge.
Hey, Dean with Convincing Idiots. Brian and Nick here. Like and subscribe.